Good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining. It's my pleasure this evening to welcome Rabbi W. Goldwasser, noted Torah scholar, author, speaker, and a wonderful friend of Makor's, who will talk with us about healing a nation. Before we get to Rabbi Goldwasser, I would like to thank Zev Brenner and Talkline Communications for being a media partner with us this evening. This evening lecture is in memory of Rivka Sarah Bat Paralea. A few words about Makor for those of you who are not familiar with Makor. Since 1978, Makor Disability Services, which was formerly known as Women's League, has been committed to opening quality residential, community, and vocational programs for babies through seniors with developmental disabilities. It affords opportunities for service participants to maximize functional, social, and intellectual potential through our programs. We are proud to share that Makor is awarded with the Compass Award for Excellence, one of 800 agencies that are governed by New York State Office for People with Developmental Disabilities. This is akin to a 5-star rating, and we wear this designation proudly. For more information about Makor, please visit our website at www.makords.org. And now I give you Rabbi Goldwasser, who will speak with us about healing a nation. Thank you.
Ruchim habuim b'shem Hashem. What a special evening it is that we gather together throughout the world in dedication to the Florida, to the Surfside community, in Achenu Kol Beis Yisrael, all of our brothers and sisters, wherever they are, throughout the entire world. I would like to thank Mrs. Carol Safian. She is an unbelievable cloud worker who doesn't stop. She's tireless. Really, it was her idea together with Shali, and I have to say that the greatest show of Achdus comes from learning and from Divrei Hisoris, from inspirational words. So we all have a great debt of gratitude to her. She should continue Mechayel El Choyel to do the wonderful work that she has done all over the years, La'orech Yomim Tovim, for many good long years. I would also like to thank Makor. I myself had the great opportunity and the privilege of touring through all of the Makor services and seeing what they do. I could only say they are modern day Balei Movsim. They perform miracles. They take care of people that I'm not sure if there was no Makor Chas v'Shalom, where the people would end up, who would take care of them with heart, with mind, with wisdom, with a tremendous giving heart. They should continue their work, Mechayel El Choyel. I am sure that Makor is helping the coming of Mashiach Tzidkenu B'mheira V'yameinu. We are all moved beyond words. It's indescribable, the tsar, the pain that everybody feels from around the world, knowing what happened on just a quiet day, that there should be a collapse of a building. It is beyond our imagination that such devastation could take. To make sure that everybody has what they need. Crucial needs: food, clothing, shelter, not more than that. Basic necessities, medical necessities. It's an unbelievable thing how Achenu Kol Beis Yisrael, our brothers and sisters from around the world, have reached out and care so much. And the local rabbis, unbelievable, each one, what they have done, what they took over in the helm of leadership to make sure it would not be a son, a sheep, Biliroya, without a shepherd. And how wonderful everybody did to join in the kochos together, ba'achdus, in a tremendous sense of unity. It is difficult for us as this still continues to unfold, as they continue to search, as they continue on. We hope, we never stop hoping. In the Talmud we read about what happens if there's a gal, if there's a heap. Do you separate? Do you take from it on Shabbos? As long as there is a possibility, as far as the possibility may be, we still try with everything that we have, where there is a question possibly of human life and recovery. Be'ez Hashem Yisparach, we should only continue to hear good besuros. We should hear good news, good tidings, and all of those families that are going through this amazing challenge. We are with you. Your family is our family. Your tsar is our tsar. And Be'ez Hashem, your simcha will be our simcha. Should only know how many times I myself thought I should go down to Florida. I should go down and be mishtatif with the people there. But what can I do? I'm not great in construction. I'm not great in pulling apart the debris. Maybe I could be mechazik some yidden there. But you don't know how many times I thought about going down. It is the place of every Jew in the entire world, and every good person, if not to go down, if not to be there to help physically, spiritually, mentally, in any way, then at least to have them in our tefillos, in our prayers, constantly to think about them, to pray for them, to learn for them, to give tzedakah for them, to give tzedakah to them, to give charity. It's necessary. We have to remember that there are a lot of people that came out of this without anything, without a shirt on their back. They came out without a pot, without a pan. They came out without an electric wire. They came out without a toothbrush, without a bar of soap. They came out without a Shabbos clothes, without shoes. They came out without anything. So we have to remember it. They are starting over again in life. And it begs and it calls to all of us. Heed the call. Know when a Yid is in tsar. Know when your fellow Jew is in pain. Step up to the plate and help them. That's what we're all about. That's what all of us are. That we know how to come to each other's aid. Kol Yisrael arevim zeh b'zeh. We are all responsible one for the next. And therefore, I would like to begin this evening's shir with a very interesting comment. We find this comment, and it happens to be in the Talmud. The Talmud in Brachos, Daf Hey Omid Beis, we learn a very interesting story. Now, don't forget, we have a pasuk in Eicha. In Eicha, it says, Nach b'sa derachenu v'nach koira. We are going to inspect our ways, v'nach koira, and we'll search them, v'noshuva ad Hashem Elokecha. And after I'm going to inspect my ways, my conduct, what I'm doing, the way that I'm doing it, then I will return to Hashem. What does this mean? That I have to search my deeds. I have to review myself. I have to see, am I doing everything that I should? Am I acting as I should? Am I doing my mitzvahs to Hashem as I should? Am I acting to my fellow man with the proper love, with the proper compassion and care? I have to inspect my deeds. I just can't go, yeah, I'm good. Shalom alai nafshi. Everything's okay here, no problem. I've got to constantly be under review, my own review. And there we find out that the great Rav Huna, one of the greatest of all the Rabbanim, one of the greatest of all the rabbis, Rav Huna had something that happened in his home, and it was a calamity of sorts. 400 barrels of wine, his basic belongings in this world, 400 barrels of wine all turned sour, useless. What's he going to do with it? And couldn't sell him his wine anymore, so he felt very bad. All of a sudden, the Chachomim, the great sages, came to him, and they told him, Mefashvesh b'masav, you know what we just read in Eicha. You got to inspect your deeds. You got to review your life. He said to them, me? Am I suspect? Are you choshed me? Did I do something wrong? You think I did something shaloi kahoigen that wasn't proper? The Chachomim said, are you choshed? Are you suspecting Hashem? Borei olam, Hashem Yisbarach, that Hashem is going to a din in this world, below dina, and that law, that din, whatever judgment was executed was not proper? Are you choshed Hashem? At that point, of course, Rav Huna took the Musar. He took it deep into his heart, and he realized that everything that goes on in this world, a person has to be mefashvesh. I have to ask, what am I doing that could help? What am I doing that chas v'shalom could hurt Klal Yisrael, Chalila? And therefore, he began to think about it, what he did right or what he did wrong. Now, it's an interesting idea, because first he says, if you heard something or you've heard that I didn't do something correctly, tell me about it. I want to be the first to know. So they said to him, yes, we have heard that you don't give your sharecroppers. That you're not giving them the crops that they deserve. They deserve a portion of the vines, and you're not giving them the portions of the vine. Immediately, Rav Huna said, it's correct. You're right. The tenant farmers who do farm the fields are entitled to a portion of the vines. But I want to tell you, you think that sharecropper, you think he left me anything? He steals everything. He takes everything. He gives me nothing. So that's why I don't give him the vines. He steals it. So that's why I deny giving it to him. As soon as they heard this, they said to him, this is the meaning that people have the common expression. What they mean is when they say, one who steals from a thief has the tam, has the taste of the thief. And therefore, it is not proper that you do this. Even they steal from you, give them their pay, or else it's like you're stealing from them. So Rav Huna was makabel. All of us, we have to accept. All of us, we have to be able to go with hachna, with humility. If you tell me that I could do something better, I want to listen, I want to do it better. If you tell me I could daven better, tell me how to do it. If you tell me I could give tzedakah better, tell me how I could do it. If you tell me I could honor father and mother better, tell me. I want to know how to do it. We are people who are mekabel. We want to learn, we want to understand, and we want to become better. And so they told him, go and pay him. Go and pay. He was mekabel immediately. He accepted upon himself that he's going to pay that sharecropper, even though that sharecropper had stolen the goods from him. A miracle happened. The miracle happened, and immediately all that had soured, that turned to vinegar, turned back to wine. A nes nifla, a miracle happened. The Tosfos says, others say that it wasn't that the vinegar turned back to wine, but there was a different kind of a miracle. The miracle was that actually the price of wine got so high, inflation, that it became the same price as wine. Vinegar and wine were the same price. So it's interesting. One was a nes nistar, one was a nes goloi. The nes nistar, the hidden miracle, would be if the vinegar all of a sudden rose in its price. All of a sudden, it became very high. So still, it's something that's hidden from people. If the vinegar would turn to wine, oh, that's a miracle that's revealed. What's the difference between the two? The great Rabbi Yitzchak Eichenstein says the following. If it would be a nes nister, if it would be that just the price of vinegar rose and was as much as wine, then you know what they would come out with the next day in the papers? oh, the reason why is because it was an extremely hot summer. So therefore, the crops were ruined. So therefore, the vinegar is less. Or there was inflation due to inflation. Or there's a scarcity of vinegar. There's no vinegar in the world. So each bottle is worth a lot of money. All types of reasons would be given. But what was the reason? The reason was because one Yid, because one person tried harder in Yiddishkeit. One person tried harder in halacha. One person tried harder in davening, in praying. One person tried harder in giving tzedakah. That's the reason for the miracle. Yes, there could have been atmospheric changes. There could have been something in the climate. It could have been the high cost of inflation. But the ikar is that somebody did tshuva, that somebody repented. We should remember at this time, when there is a tzara in the world, when there is something that we all have to be very, very careful about, especially during this time of the 3 weeks, we have to be extremely careful. And that is that we should always remember that things happen in this world as a result of our actions. An individual cannot say, oh, I'm completely innocent. My hands are clean. Yodeinu lo shuvcha, it wasn't because of me at all. All of us have to take responsibility to become better, to try a little bit harder, to come closer to Hashem. And because of that, we learn that during this time, everybody should try a little bit harder. And if we're makabel upon ourselves, if we accept upon ourselves the resolution that it should be as a help for the people in Florida, Miami, and Surfside, all of the families, it should be a schus for them. It should be a schus for all of those that are not well, all of those that need a refuah, or chas v'shalom, those that have left this world. Then it would be an unbelievable thing for us to do. That's how a person can add to it. Unfortunately, I was shown over this Shabbos many different reports. People heard about this wonderful program this evening, and they showed me all kinds of reports. I saw one after another. Mind-boggling to try to put it together. Mind-boggling the mental health that this is going to be a challenge to a people that witnessed the devastation or went through the devastation. It's going to require a lot of chizuk. It's going to require a lot of strengthening and inspiration. And we are here for each other to give inspiration. I offer to anybody, especially during this time, if I can, you give me a call or send an email. I will try my utmost to talk with you. Anybody at all that would like to talk about this, anybody that would like to have a little bit of spiritual counseling by phone or by mail, it would be my zechus. It would be my great privilege. Let me say one more thing. A lot of times the person doesn't know. Yisurim come to this world. Difficult times come to Klal Yisrael. And haven't we had a few difficult times over the past? It started, of course, Lag BaOmer. Lag BaOmer by the great Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai. All of a sudden, a collapse of a different sort. The bleachers fell. Terrible devastation. And then we were just coming out of that. Comes to be Shavuos. Lo and behold, in the Chotzer of Stalin, Heilige Stalin or Hasidim, all of a sudden, there's a collapse, bleacher collapse, and then more devastation. And then we come now in our Zman, in the Tkuf of the summer, and all of a sudden we hear about a building collapse. Ma hatzad hashavish habahen. What is the common denominator of the three? If you analyze it, in all of the three, there was a collapse. In all of the three, people were pushed. People were encroached upon. People, I don't even want to say it, felt the terrible pressure of someone in something crushing. What is it? Why? It's only my own, and I only offer it up in a simple way. maybe we have to be more careful. Bein adam l'chaveroi. Maybe we have to be a little more careful how we treat our friend, how we talk about our friend, how we talk to our friend. Maybe we have to be a little careful in money matters. Money matters. If I owe that person, if I don't owe that person, if I'm asked for a reference, do I follow all the laws of Shmiras Halashon, of guarding your tongue? Maybe I got to watch that I don't chas v'shalom, infringe on my neighbor. Stias rea. Maybe I don't cause them any anguish or upset. Onas devarim, by verbally saying something that may cause them grief. And you know the Chofetz Chaim says, it doesn't mean that I don't care. I could say to the person, what do you care that I said that to you? You could say that to me, I don't care. Chofetz Chaim said that's no good. Because maybe they're more sensitive. Maybe about that particular item that you're speaking about, they have a particular sensitivity. So it doesn't hold good. Perhaps we could take on to be a little bit more careful in the way we treat each other, in the way that we smile at each other, in the way that we say Shalom Aleichem to each other. If you pass a person on the street, you say hello, you smile towards them. It's unbelievable. You know something? A lot of times around here, New York, there are people collecting on the streets. So sometimes a little bit of a tircha, it's a little bit of a trouble. You got to put your hand in your pocket, then you got to bring it out. Then the guy starts, whatever it is. So it says, if you just give the person the money, you put in there the dollar, you put in there 50 cents, whatever it is, so you get 6 brachos. But if you say to the person, things will get better, you're looking nice today, Bez Hashem, I'm going to be Mispala. What's your name? Shloime ben Yankel. Rivka Bas. What's your mother's name? Oh, Leah. It's like my mother's name. Beautiful. And you give them words of chizuk. Misbarech. Beyond Aleph. The person gets 11 brachos. The koach hadibor. The power of speech in this world to help others. If a person would think about that, then the world would be altogether different. Then we would be careful to respect somebody else's space. We would be careful to make sure that I honor the next person, that I have derech eretz for him, that I respect. You know, Makor Services, I was there one time, and it was the most unbelievable thing. They gave the children, some of the children that are there, they care for them with such unbelievable honor. I don't know if a student in a class gets honor like these children that require a lot of work, the honor that they get. How beautiful it is when I walked out and I thought to myself, what derech eretz, what kavod abrius. They're raising the bar in understanding what it is bein adam l'chavero, to care about a fellow yid. That is something I believe from all of these instances that we can put together and that we can put into our own mind. The next time I see someone, am I going to give them a big shalom aleichem? I'm going to give them a big good Shabbos. The next time somebody argues with me, am I going to try to outdo them? Am I going to try to give them an insult that will overshout what they said to me? No. Maybe the next time I'm going to be a little quiet. Maybe the next time the mama asks me to do something, or my father, I'll say yes. It will be my biggest schus. Rather than, you want me to do it right now? I mean, I can't do it a little bit later. I mean, could you ask one of my brothers or one of my sisters? They could also do it. Maybe I'll be a little more careful. Bein adam l'chaveru is huge. Every word that we say has an impact in this world. And so, there's an interesting incident that we read about in the Talmud. The Talmud, had happened to be that Rabbi Goldwasser got sick. He was ill. Feeling ill is, of course, something that's very difficult. The Chachmei Yisrael, their whole schedule is interrupted. Their learning is interrupted. Klal Yisrael depends on them. It's not good. So the great Rabbi Yochanan came to him, and Rabbi Yochanan saw that he was sitting in Yisurim. Yisurim means he was afflicted. He was pain. And the great Rabbi Yochanan wanted to do something for him. So he said, let me ask you a question. Chavivin alecha Yisurin? Are these Yisurin chaviv to you? Are they dear? Do you like these pains and afflictions? So he answered, Omar le. He said back to him. What did he answer? Rebbe Elazar said, Lo hein v'lo scharon. I don't want them, and I don't want the reward of them. I don't want any of it. Interesting. He said to him, Havli yodech. Give to me your hand. So Rebbe Elazar gave to Rabbi Yochanan his hand. Rebbe Elazar took his hand, and he revived him. He healed him. He had a refuah. He took his hand and he healed him. He brought the refuah to him. This is phenomenal. So the Gedolei Musa ask an interesting question. The Gedolei Musa say, why can't everybody do that? Someone has a little bit of a challenge in life. Somebody's not feeling so good. Lo aleinu al kol beis Yisrael. They should say, Lo hein v'lo scharon. I don't want the pains and I don't want the reward. I don't want whatever benefits they are. Just take them away. Why doesn't it work by everybody? So there is a phenomenal incident that once took place. A king, and the king had wanted to establish a new city. So he made a new city on the outskirts of his kingdom. And in that city, he wanted to have everything. He wanted restaurant. He wanted to have a court system. He wanted to have a public library, an art gallery. He wanted to have everything that you find in a city. After all, he's a wealthy king. And he also wanted to have a prison, just in case. Need a jail. Lo aleinu al kol beis Yisrael. So they made a prison. And they appointed a warden. And they paid the warden to watch the prison. Only one problem. There was no prisoners. There was nobody that transgressed the law. Nobody committed a crime. So they needed a prisoner. They went out to the streets. They found the Yid walking along. And they said, listen, you have a job? No. He says, I'm currently unemployed. No job. Oh, we have a job for you. What kind of job? Listen, we'll pay you very well. You got to come just sit in the prison. Whatever you want, whatever foods you want, you can order. You want steak in the evening with wine. We promise you whatever you want. You'll order it in advance. We'll bring it to you. You can do anything you want there. We'll pay you at the end of every day a very good salary. Just please stay in the prison. He'd said to himself, sounds like not a bad job. Not easy to get a good job these days. So he goes into prison. He's a model prisoner. He sits there. Comes before dinner. The warden comes in. What would you like for dinner? He says, tonight I would like to have the flaming jubilee. I would like to have that for dessert. I want to have the finest duck for the main course. And he's ordering away. He never had it so good in his life in that prison. And beautiful. At the end of every day, they bring him money and they pay him. It's unreal. As city continues on, somebody committed a crime. Another person committed a crime. Now they had people that had to go to prison. So they came to the Yid and they said, we're very sorry, but you don't have your job anymore. Now we have prisoners and we don't need you. He said, okay. He was a little sorry to leave prison, but he left. About 4 weeks later, he commits a crime. They put him into prison now. And it's before dinner. So he calls, he wants the guards to come over. He says, listen, I'm ready to order dinner. Order dinner? Are you out of your mind? Yeah, I would like tonight steak. Steak? You're going to be lucky tonight if you get some potatoes. You'll be lucky if you get some water to drink. Steak? They begin laughing. A little bit later, he calls over the guard and he says, I'd like to know where my money is for today, my payment. Money? Are you kidding? You're lucky if we don't charge you for the potatoes and the water that we're giving you. And they made a whole big deal about it. And he realized, he said, I want to talk to the warden right now. I want to know what's going on in this place. This jail is corrupt. The warden came and he explained to him very gently, listen, when you didn't commit a crime, so then you didn't have to go through Yisurim. Lo hein v'lo ischaron. Now, however, you're guilty. Once you're guilty, then already you're going to have to take what justice is meted out to you. And this was the same as we find Rabbi Goldwasser and Yochanan, that he could say, Lo hein v'lo ischaron, because he was completely innocent. Let us all be able to say, Lo hein v'lo ischaron. Let us be able to say, I am innocent. I don't want this. Hashem Yisbarach, help us that we should never have to ever in this world ever suffer like this again. That there should only be good besuros, that there should only be brachos, that there should only be hatzlacha, that there should only be the greatest simchas in all of Klal Yisrael. It's interesting. It says, Samchenu kimosi nisanu. Hashem, please cause us to rejoice commensurate with the days that we were afflicted. Klal Yisrael has gone through some very difficult times, some very trying times. It is now that we want to look ahead to the future, to great simchas, to great happiness. You know, it's interesting. There in the Torah, we read about all of the things that Klal Yisrael goes through. Chas v'sholom, it should be enough just to read the psukim, not to have to do anything more. That should be plenty for us. But you know a very interesting thing? Immediately after we read all the challenges and everything that we went through, there it says the Parsha of Erechin. What is the value of a human being? I once heard from Rabbi Scherer, Zecher Tzadik Livracha. What does that mean? That means the following, that when a person goes through a Parsha, when Klal Yisrael goes through challenges, when the Yidden in Florida and in Surfside went through these past couple of weeks, it should all end in the best possible way soon. When all of these things happened around the world, and we emerge with stronger emunah, with stronger bitachon, with greater faith, with greater trust in Hashem, knowing that we're waiting, v'hu yashmiyenu b'rachamov shenis, that Hashem will have compassion on us, and we are going to see once again in the future, the third and the final Beis HaMikdash, when everyone will be healed. And as it says in Malachi, that there's going to be a sun that will heal all of us. It will come and it will rise and everybody will receive their refuah. That's the days that we are looking forward to. That's the time that we thirst for. All of us, everyone around the world, we're looking forward to the time of Simcha. Don't forget, it was after the Holocaust, after the horrors and the devastation that Klal Yisrael went on. They went to Eretz Yisrael. They went to all of the various places, and they rebuilt all of the yeshivas. They rebuilt the Lithuania. They rebuilt Poland. They rebuilt the centers of Hasidus all around, all over the world. There was such building, such binyan that happened. It was unbelievable. It was unreal. That should happen in our days. We've seen devastation. We've seen hard times for our brothers and sisters. It's beyond even to speak about it, to know what has gone on. The pain is great, and the suffering is also great. It should only be that Hashem Yisbarach, who is the Rofei Nemun, who heals all people, who heals everybody, that can heal a nation, to heal Klal Yisrael, so that we may go on to the future, to the Gula Shalema, all of us healthy and well, all of us celebrating Simchas, all of us with good Shalom Bayis, all of us with Parnasa Mitzuya Berevach, all of us with children going on the derech, all of us in a good mental state, all of us happy and besimcha, all of us together as one.
Now I'd like to introduce Shayel Cochran from from Panama, who was instrumental in organizing this evening's program. Shayel, please join us.
Thank you so much, Rabbi Dowd, for being here tonight. Thank you, Carol, for this amazing opportunity to create this amazing shiur, to give a word of Torah, a word of hope, to be kind and be all united as one with everyone at Florida and in different countries around the world in this uncertain time.
Thank you. That concludes our program for this evening. May we celebrate together only good times and hear Yeshuos and receive refuahs for everyone that is needed it. And again, we'd like to thank Rabbi David Goldwasser for his words of inspiration and chizuk. And there really is no better friend and person to turn to at this time. And thank you, Rabbi, for offering your personal time for consultations. If anyone needs spiritual guidance, advice, Rabbi kindly offered his time. If you need the Rabbi's contact information, please reach out to me at the Makor office at 718-853-0900, and I'll happily provide it to you. So everybody be well, and we hope that we can share simchas in the future for all of Klal Yisrael. Good evening.
Good evening.